Right, right, the base gravy. I'm just going to try to show you just a little bit before I set the tripod up, because obviously I need both hands. Here we've got 350 grams of cabbage, 1 carrot topped and tail which weighs 100 grams. In the bucket here I've got topped and tailed and peeled 5 kilogram of onions. But these will be chopped up, the carrot will be chopped up and the cabbage will be chopped up. In the old cooking pot I've got a litre of oil there in the bottom. Right, I'll just set the camera up on the tripod. Right, I've chopped all the onions, cabbage and the carrot up. In here, like I said, in the other, I've got a litre of oil, and I'm just heating it up now on my gas ring, which is on its fullest, on the biggest. This is made to how I was shown in the takeaway. Obviously I'm at home now. So we're just letting that oil heat up, and to this we're going to add 3 tablespoons of garlic and ginger. Obviously, because I do a lot of cooking, I can guess it on a chef's spoon. Now, this sounds like it's coming up to ready, so in with the garlic and ginger. And then to this we're going to add a tablespoon and a half of just normal plain old table salt. We're not trying to brown the garlic, all we're doing is just cooking some of that rawness out of it. Have a litre of water ready, because obviously if this starts to look very brown, you need to slow that cooking down very fast. Right. That's enough. It's not even started to go brown, but getting a lovely garlicky smell coming from it, so and with that litre of cold water. That's now 2 litres of cold water. Now in with the onions. there. To this I'm going to add a teaspoon of chili powder, just normal chili powder, it's not the extra hot. I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons of turmeric, haldi, I think the Indian word for it is. 1.5 tablespoons. I'm just pushing my spoon down the side there so I can see where the water levels up to. And to this I'm going to add another litre of water. Do it to this side and you might be able to just see it. I'm going to add another ½ litre of water. See there, the water's just to that. It's obviously I've seen the base gravy being made quite a lot. So the water, it is a little bit hard depending on how fine you cut your onions. So if you, and it also depends on what size of pan you're using. At the takeaway they don't use a tall pan like this, they use the wide pans. But I am going to add another litre of water to this. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, once the onions start breaking down, they need to free flow in the water. Why they need to free flow is because this is going to, once it comes up to a very strong boil, it's going to boil for an hour. And obviously if the onions can't move, they'll be on the bottom, they'll stick there and they'll burn. And obviously as these onions melt down, the water will come out of them, so they will be allowed to move. So try and lift some up from the bottom And here's the cabbage and the carrot. Right, just going to pop the lid on that, and I'm just going to set the timer 15 minutes, but in that 15 minutes I'll be coming back and giving it a stir just until we can start to get some movement. This is actually coming up to the 20-minute mark. As you can see, I've actually added another ½ litre of water, but you can see where this was up to. The onions are starting to soften now, so you can, get in there with your spoon and lift them up from the bottom. So obviously we don't want them to burn on the bottom. I would say I've stirred this about 4 times in that 20 minutes, because basically, I say the gas is on its highest heat on the biggest burner. So obviously, if you just leave it, some of the onions will burn and start sticking to the bottom. As you can see, when you're first stirring it, obviously because the onions are still hard, you have to to get it up to the top. That's the 20-minute start timer's beeping. I'll set that off for another 20 minutes. You don't need to set the timer. I'm setting it so that I know to come back and show you where we're up to with it. Obviously, this is for the ebook that I'm doing on how to show people how to make takeaway curries. I was going to say takeaway style, but we're not doing a style. We are making takeaway curries. When you order one, you're going to be shown how to make basically what you order. Now, this is a recipe that's been given to me by the owner, Sam. Every takeaway has its own, how can I word it, they put their own stamp on their curries. I mean, even here in my hometown, Burnley, from one takeaway to the next, it's going to be different, and from one town, one city to the next, they're all going to be different. So in your particular takeaway, they might use cinnamon. I know one of ours does. That's like their signature to it. It's not overpowering, but there's definitely a taste of cinnamon to it. So if that's what you're getting, then to this, add a piece of cinnamon. Don't add a big chunk of it, just a little piece of cinnamon into this, and it'll give that background flavour of cinnamon. Personally, I don't want it in this. There's a lot of people out there that are trying to recreate the takeaway curries at home. And like myself, I bought all sorts of different books, ebooks, but the way I'm showing you to make this, it isn't in any of them. I can guarantee that, because, well, it's certainly not in the ones that I bought, and I think I've bought quite a lot of them. Don't stop buying them. You can get some quite good results from them, but I don't know. I've never got there to where it's basically it's like it's come from the takeaway, you know, like when you open the carton and that aroma hits you, that aroma is a taste in the curry. You can't buy that spice, you can't buy that flavour, you can't buy something to put in it. You have to create that flavour. I'll just show you this. I hope I don't spill it. This is what's going to be added to it, and that what I've just showed you, that is where the Indian takeaway smell, the aroma, that flavour that you get in your curries. I mean, a curry is a curry. I mean, a curry is built up of a curry powder, which is a mixture of spices. But the only way I can explain it, you can buy a curry pot noodle. It tastes of curry, but it doesn't taste of an Indian takeaway curry. So if you can understand what I'm saying, what I've been searching for, and I know a lot of other people have been searching for, is how to make the Indian takeaway curry. And I guarantee that the book is going to put an Indian takeaway meal on your plate. Now, excuse me, Sam is constantly telling me that curry is so versatile, and at first I was like, yeah, alright, but I want to make takeaway curry. I don't want all this variation. I want to know how to make takeaway curry. Now what he actually meant was, once you've got this right, well, I've just showed you what's going to go into there. Once you know how to make that goes into here, you've got your Indian takeaway here. When they're stood at the range making all the different meals, yes, they're adding stuff to, like if you're making a madras, it's very simple, but it is probably one of the hardest curries to get right because there is so few ingredients. You've got to get it right. But until you get this right, you're never ever going to get a madras right. And all the rest of the curries, none of them will be right. No matter what you try to add to your curries, they're not going to be right. It's at this stage you've got to get it right. And yes, you will be shown. And another part of the Indian takeaway flavour, the aroma, is this spicy oil. Same again, that will be in the ebook, how to make that. That spicy oil is added to the main curries when you make them, and it adds that Indian flavour. It's not the be all and end all, the spicy oil, because what I showed you, what's going to be added to this, you've got it in there. So you've got it in here, you've got it in the spicy oil. When you're making the curries, you see them making curries on a big burner. That is there for speed. Remember, they're cooking hundreds of meals on a Friday and a Saturday night, the busiest nights. They're cooking hundreds of meals. They've got 8 burners. The need to get them curries moved through there fast. Hence why they make the base gravy because obviously time consuming. That's how they can move them through fast. The big burners, the preparation. This is just starting to come up to a boil. You can see now it's just a lot of books. Oh God, you have to add the kitchen sink to this. Peppers, coriander stalks. There's all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff people add. Remember, what you add to this is going in every curry. So for one thing, it doesn't need it. It will change the flavour of this. If you're a lover of green peppers, by all means add some. For the first time you make it, I wouldn't, because you won't be getting the true flavour of how we've made this and how it tastes. Next time around, if you want to add anything else, you add it. But at the end of the day, this is a base, and that's it, a base. When you make curries, that's when you start adding your green peppers, your red peppers. Not only that, you add coriander to this, you've got a boiled coriander flavour to every curry you make. If you don't like coriander, I'm sorry, you've got it in your curry. But if you're like me, I love coriander. I really think it plays a big part in Indian curries. So when I make my curry, I do add coriander near to the end of the cooking, as you'll see. But once I've got it on my plate, I sprinkle a little bit more coriander on it. But what I'm eating is fresh coriander. I'm getting the fresh flavour of coriander, not a boiled down coriander. As you can see, that's starting to come up to a nice boil now. That heat will be on full. I've been yakking for 10 minutes while stirring this. As this is coming to the boil now, lid's going on, still on the full heat, and that'll be on there for an hour. I'll come back in an hour. Alright, this is how it looks after 30 minutes. There you go, bang on tone. See this oil starting to float. The onions are very, very soft, but this is going to boil away for another half an hour yet on full. Lid back on. Right, this is I've actually turned it down just now, but this has been boiling away vigorously for the past hour. You can see the onions are just so melted down now. It's starting to get a film of oil on the top. Not mega important. Now this is where the magic happens. Obviously, give this a smell. Nice. Now in goes the magic. This was made last night at the takeaway, and I videoed it being made at the takeaway, so you can see that there's no secrets being kept. And you'll see exactly what's in there. Give that a mix in. I mean, look at it already. That actually looks like something that you see on the range at the takeaway, but it's not ready. Good stirring, good mixing. Why you don't put this in from the very beginning is that it will sink to the bottom and burn. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful smell. But like I say, it's not ready yet. That now will go on a medium heat for another half an hour. Right, this has been on a half heat, medium heat for the last 30 minutes. A lot of books, and it's a belief that in the takeaways this is left for hours to cook. It isn't. Remember, it's a takeaway, they're there to make money. Well, that gas is on, it's costing them money. That's why it was boiled hard for an hour and then the heat halved once we'd added the magic, and then just left to simmer. Now, I hope you can see this on the video. It's going to take very, very little blending. The onions are just melted. It's all absolutely melting. This oil that's on the top, that will get blended into this. But now this, I'll turn the heat off it, lid on it. For the best results, leave it overnight on the stove top. No heat. Tomorrow morning, when you come to it, the pan will be still warm. This, with no heat now underneath it, will carry on cooking for the next 2 or 3 hours with no gas under it. Like I say, tomorrow morning it'll still be warm, and then tomorrow morning, I mean, like now it's 5:30. Tomorrow morning, that's the time to blend it all together, and then once it's blended together, it'll be then cooked for another half an hour, and then it's there. But I tell you now, once you've got to this stage, you'll be dancing around the kitchen, because you're already getting, some people know it as the b.i.r, British Indian restaurant aroma. You're getting it from this. Well, this is 4 hours after. It's just been sat there. I have used a thermometer, and when I stopped and took it off the heat, it was at 195. It's now down to 165, which is, if you're anything like me, you know that chicken, that's the internal temperature, and that's cooked. Like I said, I can blend this up and use it now. It will get better overnight, so if you can leave it overnight and then blend it up tomorrow. Right, this is the next morning. Like I said, leave it overnight is the best. You can see there's still some oil there. It's only a cheap blender, hand blender, but blended up plenty. Now, if you're going to freeze this, freeze it now. But this is way too thick for making curries. Plus, now I'm going to put this back on the heat and cook it for like another half an hour on a medium heat.